Okay. Hello and welcome to the first episode of Decode, a podcast featuring leading pioneers in the food tech industry.
Sure.
Today's episode is a special one. You always remember the first. And we're thrilled to have Mr. Jayanth Narayanan, founder of the popular Mani's Dum Biryani, a leading voice in the F&B industry, an author with 2 published books, a blogger, a former techie, an MBA, and much, much more. It's an absolute pleasure to have you with us, sir.
Thank you so much, Kaushal.
I think there's no better way to kind of get started than to ask you how are you doing? Is your family and all your loved ones safe? And how are you coping with these times?
Yeah, personally, I think we are okay, but I think I consider the Mani's staff as personal, so I think we're all okay. So thankfully, all our staff as well as my personal family members, everybody is fine.
Okay, that's great to hear. And so I was wondering, for example, when I say work from home, which is what I've been doing for the last year, this is what work from home means. It is my house, it's my bed. What does work from home mean for you? How does one manage work from home in these times?
So for our industry, there is no work from home. Thankfully, the government has been kind, both the last time as well as this time. Last time they issued passes for us. And this time, I think all we need is an ID card, and just to justify that we're not roaming around the streets for fun. We're actually going there for work. So I would like to thank the Karnataka, the Bangalore cops in specific. We have had no issues. Thankfully, our kitchens have not been closed even for a single day during the entire lockdown last year as well as this time. So we have just been lucky.
That's great to hear. Mentioning work from home, one of the perks of kind of living at home is we do get good food sometimes. I would have been a bachelor otherwise in Bangalore not having good food. So today's lunch, I actually did get veg biryani at home. So I think it's just a great tone to kind of set this call off for today.
Sure.
We were just wondering, just to get started, can you tell us a little bit about the brand, Mani's Dum Biryani, how you kind of, conceptualize this brand, catering to a wide audience, a biryani brand?
Sure. So this business was started not because of some strategic insight or anything. It was because of desperation and survival instinct. So we had started a restaurant called Cafe Arogya. This was a health food veg restaurant. So we ran that for about 15 months. After about, I think 7-8 months, the writing was clear on the wall. But like most entrepreneurs, you just don't want to accept that you're going to fail and suffer. So we continued the struggle for about 15 months, but that was like an art movie, critically acclaimed, commercially, it was a failure. So we were losing a couple of lakhs every month. And at some point of time, I realized that I can't continue doing this. I'm not the son of Mukesh Ambani, so I can't continue doing this. So we actually want to shut down this business. So we wanted to sell it off. Some of the staff I'd had for the business, Mani was actually the chef I'd hired for Arogya. And a couple of their staff said that we were not getting great offers when we want to sell this space. We already have a restaurant. We made the investment. Why don't we try something that will work well in this space? And we had made the cardinal sin of doing a restaurant in a bad location, first floor off a main street. So we knew even in 2009 that we had to do a business where delivery was a critical component of the business. This was much before Zomato, Swiggy, etc. So the 2 options we had were dosa or biryani. Dosa clearly can't be delivered well, so we picked biryani. We couldn't find a better name, so we wanted a local sounding name. So we said, I'll name it after the chef. So we called it Mani's Dum Biryani. We said, we'll give it 3 months. 3rd month, we operationally broke even, which means that I didn't have to put in money to run the business. And so that's kind of how we started. And then over the last 10 to 11 years, we've just grown organically primarily, with, of course, some support from some friendly investors, let me call them that.
Yeah, I read the story actually about how the name Mani's Biryani, Dum Biryani came to be online while I was doing some research. I was just curious, is the chef still with you guys? Is Mani still with you guys?
Absolutely. So Mani is still my partner and one of probably my closest friends today. So without him, the business is not there. So this is it's almost like co-founders, but it's just that we started this after 15 months after we started the business. So he's a co-founder, and I really hope if we do well, he's going to get a big share of the success.
Wow, it's wonderful. Now, just coming to you and your own kind of background, right? It's a very interesting background. It's not the most traditional path, right? In the sense, you did an MBA, you went abroad, you had a couple of your own startups. How did that kind of click, or when did that passion for food come to be, and how did you start wanting to have a food business of your own?
Sure. So I think the other ones are the ones which don't fit in. I think even when I was in school, I was just enamored by these local tea shops. I always knew I wanted to start a small business of my own. I think the engineering and the MBA just delayed that because you got fancy jobs, high-paying jobs abroad, etc. So, but the good thing was, where I lived in the US for about 6 years, I was selling telecom software. I think I made more money than I imagined, just right place at the right time. So I realized that I just had to come back and start something on my own. So I just came back to India. In fact, the day I decided to come back to India was the day I got my green card. So I said, if I stay here, I'm never going to come back. So let me just take a flight and go back. So then I started this business. Of course, I didn't realize how difficult it's going to be. I knew it'll be tough, but I had no clue it's going to be this difficult. But I've just enjoyed the last 11 years. If I had to go back, I would probably do this again, despite all the troubles.
Wow. And and when you started, was it one outlet, like you mentioned, that location, if you mind telling, like, a lot of the people who consume our content are from Bangalore. So where was that outlet? And now today, 2021, how many outlets do you guys have? And yeah.
Sure. So that outlet was in Kormangala, near Jyotinivas College. That was where Cafe Arogya was started. We literally changed the signboard overnight from the green Cafe Arogya to the red Mani's Dum Biryani. We today have 15 outlets in Bangalore. We are opening one outlet in Chennai. So we are so lucky and so happy to even be able to have survived so long and being able to do well.
That's wonderful. I was just curious now, like, where you said you started the journey. Of course, at that point, no one thought about Swiggy. No one thought about Zomato, Dunzo, so on and so forth. But what is your take on these multitude of aggregators? There is, of course, a bonus for restaurants like yours and the industry. But on the other side, there's always that question about commissions, about that. What is your take on? Do you think these guys are good for the industry? What is your take on the increasing number of aggregators?
So I think the aggregators have a couple of significant advantages. The restaurant industry is against aggregators because of the commissions. But I think if you were to do your own delivery, which we still do, I think our cost of delivery is more than the commissions that we pay to Swiggy or to Zomato. So the biggest advantages the aggregators have is this, what I call is this local consolidation. So delivery guy is waiting in the street. He can get an order from Mani's, he can get an order from 15 other restaurants in our area. Whereas when we have our own delivery staff, you're dependent on one restaurant. So the economics of this industry is going to work through aggregators. I don't see direct deliveries. It'll probably be a part of our business, but aggregators are going to drive business. So I think what we have to do is to be smart and find a way where you can make money despite paying the commissions to the aggregators. So at some point of time, I think the customers will have to start paying more than what they're paying today for getting food delivered at their home. For example, your veg biryani that you probably ordered through Swiggy today, if you had paid $200 for it, I think in about a few months, if we were to survive, you'll probably have to pay $250, $260 for it. In some ways, the customer pays for the commission, not the restaurant.
Yeah, I think that will be a very interesting shift that has to happen inevitably at some time, but it's going to be hard for the customers because when they think about online delivery, they're still looking at offers on Swiggy, Zomato, and probably choosing the best. So it's going to be very interesting.
That is going to be similar to the travel industry when you book airline tickets, right? Earlier, the fare was $3,000. That's what you paid. Yeah. Today, you pay convenience fee, you pay seat selection fee, meal fee. So you end up paying $4,000 to $3,000, and customers are okay with it. So at some point of time, I think this will change. So customers have to, if not the full amount, they have to fund some part of this business. Otherwise, Swiggy won't survive, the restaurants won't survive.
Right. So when would you say, online sales started kicking in for you guys? Which year was it? And when it started, was it something you thought maybe that this might be a trend and something that might die down? Or did you think about a sustainable kind of source of your revenue going forward? When did you kind of recognize that there's a shift in like the patterns of ordering?
So I still remember I had a meeting with Swiggy CEO. He had come to our restaurant and said he wanted to sign up. And the way Swiggy started was the delivery guy would come with a credit card issued by Swiggy, pay for the food and do. So they said that we will be your takeaway customer. That's how Swiggy started. So we signed up on Swiggy. I think we were one of the earliest to sign up on Swiggy. They started in Kormangla. So we knew that delivery was already a big problem for us, even before Swiggy, because we would have customers calling us on the phone and telling us that we ordered an hour back, food has not come. So we already had a pain and we felt that Swiggy was a great solution. I think what we didn't expect was that the customer will not be willing to pay more than 150, 200 bucks for food delivered to his home. I think that's what we didn't factor. So at 300 bucks, I think it's fantastic for a single meal for a person. I think the model will work. The trouble is the customer wants to pay 150 to 200 today. I think that's where the challenge is.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so in today's time, the last 12 months, I'm sure, has kind of skewed this figure. But about 12 months ago, what percentage of your sales would you say would be online sales as opposed to people visiting your store?
So when we started our business, I think delivery was 5% of our business. I think 2016, 17 is when things started changing significantly. Today, about 70% of our business is online. So though we have 8 restaurants with dine-in as well as takeaway. Takeaway is where the customers come in and pick up the food from the restaurant. So one good thing we have seen in the last 1 year is our takeaway sales have actually increased beyond pre-COVID levels. So we're seeing a lot more customers coming in and picking up food from our restaurants than ordering through Swiggy or through our own website, etc.
Yeah, takeaway I think will continue to be a great solution for people who want to step out as well, but don't want to maybe spend some time in the restaurant.
Absolutely.
Can you tell us about some of the challenges? You brought this up at the beginning. Some of the unforeseen challenges. In your head, everything was clear. You're going to start Mani's Dum Biryani. People are going to come enjoy the biryani, and you're going to start scaling. But there were some roadblocks, challenges along the way. What were some of those key challenges? How did you overcome them?
So I think the biggest challenge the industry faces is the customer's unwillingness to pay the right price for the product. I'll give you an example. For you guys sell software, right? So if I were to come and say that I'll pay you only 150 rupees for your software per month, you will not be in business.
Yeah.
Right. So the restaurant industry is what I call as a mirage industry, where there are so many people who think that restaurants are making so much money. I'll also start one. So what is happening is about 80% of restaurants die, but new ones keep coming up. So people are making the same mistakes over and over again. And the customers are just saying, okay, whenever I want, I'm getting food at a certain price. Unlike in the Western world where you actually cook food at home, it's cheaper than, it's more expensive than buying food from a restaurant. In India, it's still the other way. I think that shift has to happen at some point of time. It's also a case of our customers not valuing Indian food more than Western food. You don't mind paying 400 bucks for a Domino's pizza, but for a dosa, 80 bucks is expensive with sambar, chutney, and ghee added. It just doesn't make sense, right? The economics just doesn't make sense. So I think at some point of time, I think the customers have to say that, okay, cooking is going to be so painful, so effortful for me. I'm not going to get the maids or cooks who can cook for like 3,000 rupees a month. So I have no choice but to pay 300 bucks, 400 bucks to buy food from a restaurant. I think that shift is, slowly happening. It will happen in the next few years.
Very interesting that a lot of what you said actually sees a change in consumer behavior. And I guess that happens every now and then. And I think the next 5 years, some of the biggest changes you're going to see is not only from the restaurant side, but from how consumers kind of react and how their patterns when it comes to food as well.
Absolutely. So I think what is also happening is the restaurant industry is also, I think, not correct when they say that our challenges we face are from the government, the licensing, the aggregator commissions. I think people are just fooling themselves. If a customer is willing to pay 400 bucks, I don't have a problem paying 30% to Swiggy. So I think the root of the issue is the customer behavior. And until that happens, I think the industry is going to struggle.
Right. Speaking about people's willingness to pay and extracting maximum value out of the consumer, just segueing into a topic which covers all of that, which is marketing, right? So when you think about marketing Mani's Dum Biryani, what are some of the first ideas you had, and where are you guys today? I checked out some of the channels. You're very active on Facebook and other platforms. But when you thought about it in the beginning, how did you think you can reach a wide number of consumers? When you think about it today, how has that changed?
So what we did was we actually used newspaper flyers as a probably was our primary marketing tool for the first 10 years. It still is a part of our marketing arsenal, though we spend much less money on it than earlier. In about 2017-18 is when we realized that social media, specifically Facebook, and probably last year Instagram. So we're spending decent money on Facebook and Instagram. But the way we look at Facebook and Instagram is it's just like a billboard for us. You just have to be out there. We don't really relate saying that you spend money on Facebook, you're going to get revenues. We look at it as a billboard. We just put people see it whenever they come in. Hopefully they'll order. Today we feel that our biggest marketing tool is actually our retail locations with our signboards. So that is where, in fact, the amount of money we spend on signboards is just insane. Our last restaurant, HSR, I think we spent about 4.5-5 lakhs on just our signboards, with a lollipop in the roof, like you see with the McDonald's, etc. In our Chennai outlet, we are opening, I think our budget for signboards is 6.5-7 lakhs. Wow. So we see that as a significant marketing spend. Of course, Facebook is like a website today. So Facebook, Insta, you just have to be out there, but we don't really expect revenues to come directly from it.
Yeah, I think that's a good point that you're making. When everyone does talk about digital today, out-of-home marketing expenses and out-of-home marketing is still the bulk of, especially for a restaurant brand. And I think there was something that you said earlier as well. Location was, one parameter that you got wrong in the beginning, right? Yeah. And it's a very important factor for a restaurant. Absolutely. Now, for a restaurant chain, what would you say, other than say location, are the 4-5 key factors, for their success? It could be their menu, it could be, but according to you, what are those 4-5 factors someone has to nail in order to have a successful brand?
So location, I would say, would be 70-80% of your success of a restaurant. The reason I say that, if you have a good location, if the others don't work, you can still change it. If the location is bad, you can't do anything to fix the problem. Yeah. So once your location is like the base, on top of it, what I would say is the consistency in the food. So we don't claim to serve the best biryani, but whenever you order biryani from us, it will be decent biryani. Domino's doesn't claim they have the best pizzas, but you order from Domino's, you're not going to feel it's bad pizza, right? So I think customers value consistency quite a bit, and that's when you're going to get repeat customers. So for any restaurants, I would say that focus on your consistency, and you don't really need to have a lot of products. That's something we have proved time and again. We only have biryani in our menu. We don't have roti curry, we don't have tandoor, we don't have anything. And we have seen that you can survive. And if you look at globally, the most successful chains, the QSR chains in the world, are all single product. Whether it's a Subway, whether it's a Domino's, a Pizza Hut, a McDonald's, they're all single product. Of course, you got to kind of, I won't say fool customers, but kind of create stuff in a way that customers perceive that they have a lot of choice. But when you go to McDonald's, all you're doing is ordering bun with a patty.
Yeah.
But they give you all these combos, so you just confuse the hell out of customers with the choices. So which is what I think works. So the more products you have, it's difficult to achieve that consistency.
All right. Absolutely. And another trend.
The third thing I would say is managing your operation and staff. So even the largest chains have realized that if you're not able to manage your staff, they are the ones. I'm not the face of the brand, and is going to feel it. So I think that's something which a lot of restaurants underestimate, especially when they scale.
Absolutely. And since you're talking about restaurant scaling and everything, one big trend in the restaurant industry is now cloud kitchens. When you guys think about expanding, when you think about maybe entering new geographies where you don't have a physical outlet, what is your take on cloud kitchens? Have you already started investing, having your own cloud kitchens, or where do you see this going in a few years?
Yeah, so we have 50, out of 15 outlets, 8 are restaurants, 7 are cloud kitchens. One of them is with Kitchens Hut, which is a zero capex kind of an investment. But the way we see cloud kitchens are, we always do our cloud kitchens in an area near one of our restaurants, but we are not able to sufficiently deliver on time. For example, I'll give you an example. We have a cloud kitchen in Basavanagar, which is off Old Airport Road. But that works because we have a restaurant in Jeevan Bhima Nagar in Indranagar. Similarly, we have an restaurant in Bellandur and Whitefield. We have a cloud kitchen in Marthali. Marthali works only because of the restaurants we have in these 2 locations. So I would say that our strategy for cloud kitchens is to put cloud kitchens near our restaurants, areas which we won't be able to service from our restaurants for delivery. That is the only way I see this working. I don't see us going to a new city doing just cloud kitchens. Like in Chennai, our first few outlets are going to be restaurants, but then we'll probably expand with cloud kitchens, add one or two, like a hub and spoke model.
Yeah, and the reason for that being, you think just having a cloud kitchen, you might not be able to kind of connect with the consumer or get that kind of following you want for your brand. Is that the reason why you wouldn't enter a new geography with a?
Absolutely, like I said, right? Every day you go back. I mean, I know you're all working from home now, but let's say in the earlier times, you go from work to home every day. You see our board every day. You'll just say, these guys have been there. I've been seeing for a year. Let me order, right?
Yeah.
So to me, I see that location is a big marketing spend for us. So when I say location, it's not just signboard, just the restaurant. I look at it as a marketing spend for us, which is what you're seeing a lot of the online brands are realizing. You see Lenskart putting up stores now, Pepperfry putting up stores now. So even in other industries, you're seeing that happening. So I see this as the only sustainable model where we do restaurants and then we do clouds to support areas where a restaurant is not sustainable, but we can still deliver food.
Yeah, I think, I mean, you make a great point. Just to give you like a bit of a personal anecdote. So I moved to Bangalore in about 2015, 2016, earlier in my career, just trying to start. But I had a bike. I was moving around the city and I was staying near the Indiranagar area. So Mani's Dum Biryani, I'd maybe passed it a few times. And then one of the first meals I did have was Mani. So like you're saying, it's exactly just having a restaurant is marketing in itself. So, it absolutely validates what you're saying. Just to speak a little bit more about the brand in itself, right? What is Mani Dum Biryani's USP? Do you say that it has a USP, or like you mentioned earlier, maybe just consistency? What is the USP of Mani Dum Biryani in your words?
So in our words, I mean, we have a very, very clearly defined USP. Great tasting biryanis, freshly made. That's it. So there's nothing else beyond us. So we make our biryanis in small batches. We don't make like a 20 kg, 50 kg handi. We make our biryanis in either 1 kg or 3 kg handis. So whether you order from us at 12 o'clock or at 2 o'clock, you're probably going to get just to give you context, a 1 kg biryani is 6 portions of our biryani. That's it.
Oh.
Whenever you order, you get fresh biryani from us, and we feel that makes a big difference. So that's it. Fresh, great tasting biryanis with good ingredients. So one of the things I keep telling our staff is the day we stop ordering and eating food from our restaurants and stop ordering it for our families, we should shut our business down. The minute I put any ingredient for increasing shelf life, then I feel that I won't order it for my family. Your business is done.
Yeah, absolutely. And other biryani brands, lots of biryani brands in the country, right?
Yeah.
Is there any other biryani brand that's caught your attention in terms of what they're doing, or any other brand particularly that maybe you like their marketing or any other factors?
Can you repeat the question? I think I couldn't hear your voice.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering, has there been any other biryani brand that has maybe caught your attention for what they're doing, something they're doing differently, so on and so forth?
I mean, absolutely. Lots of biryani brands. We in fact like. We actually visit and order food from our competitors pretty regularly. So a couple of brands which really caught our attention in the biryani spaces. One is Ammi's Biryani. The way they did the packaging and the marketing was unheard for this industry. So I think definitely kudos for the way they did that. Meghana Biryani, which doesn't spend a lot of marketing. They just have served decent food and they have a fan following. Off late, we've been quite happy with the way Dindikal Talapaka tea is executed. Yeah. Though they've raised a lot of money, I think they've been spot on with their execution and their qualities. Again, they're focusing on consistency. I've not had a bad experience with them. So I mean, some of these are probably the 3 or 4 big brands that have caught our attention.
One question I had was, now you've mentioned the journey from the last decade or so. At what point did you think technology might become a big part of, a brand like yours? For example, a solution like UrbanPiper. When did you maybe start thinking that you will need to invest in tech solutions? When did you realize that there were some challenges, some operational challenges that you mentioned that you might have to kind of overcome?
So we are a super conservative business where we believe that we trust the staff more than the tech, though that is kind of not the norm in current days. So normally what we do when we've adopted tech is when the industry adopts tech, we are probably among the last to adopt it. So whether it comes to a POS or an online software, whatever it is, we're among the last to adopt. But I think we'll be foolish to say that tech is not an integral part of the solution. Today, we have tech for our billing, we have tech for our procurement, we have tech for our website. We have what is called as a responsive website, which acts as a mobile app. So we've invested in all of those. So I think this has got to be done. I think it's one of those. You can't run a restaurant without a kitchen, so you can't run a restaurant. You can't run a business today without tech.
Absolutely.
So
I think the last
we
thing
spend, I think, about 1 or 2% of our revenues on tech. Yeah.
Okay, wow. And the last thing that you were mentioning, some of these responsive website apps and your own online ordering platform. Have you seen success with your own online ordering platform with the UrbanPiper kind of having your own channel out there?
Absolutely. I mean, we still have, I think, if I remember right, last month, despite all the COVID situation, in March, about 10% of our revenues came from our own direct deliveries. So we call direct deliveries where people order from our website, and we also have a call center, but our call center orders are more follow-up. The number of orders through the call center has really dropped. We also use the UrbanPiper solution to pass on the orders to our retail outlets. So when a call center agent takes a call, he punches in the order in the UrbanPiper system. Our customers order through the UrbanPiper system. We've been quite happy with it. The reason I say we've been quite happy with it is the system doesn't break, works on weekends. If there is for some reason the site is down, I think we call somebody, we have a personal phone number of one of your tech guys. He gets it up in 15, 20 minutes. So to me, whether it's fancy or not, doesn't matter. The damn solution works and hasn't broken for us. We've been using it for 3 years. So I think we're quite happy with it. That's all I can say for that.
No, absolutely. I think, thanks. It's great to hear that, we've been able to kind of help your brand and power some of your solutions. Just a parting question. I wanted to understand, any words of wisdom you have for young or budding entrepreneurs in the F&B industry, otherwise, any words of wisdom for them?
So one big advice I would have is don't get carried away by cloud kitchens. You can do cloud kitchens only 2 ways. One is if you have a brand or you have a lot of money to spend on marketing like a fast sauce or a fresh menu. People don't realize that they know about fresh menu because they spent, I think they raised about 300, 400 crores. Fast sauce has raised over 1,000 crores. So people think that they don't need to spend the money on a restaurant. I'll invest 15 lakhs, 10 lakhs in a cloud kitchen or set it up in a kitchen zat where I don't need to spend any money. You're going to fail. So you may not lose money, but I think your confidence, everything is going to go away. So my strong suggestion is for restaurateurs, get a location, build your brand, then explore how you can increase your revenues for cloud kitchens. So I would still say for restaurateurs, you don't need a fancy place. You can do a takeaway outlet, but have a brand, have a signboard.
Okay. And so what we wanted to kind of do is, if you don't mind, we wanted to do a quick, non-tacky rapid fire. We have a very few simple questions. So if you wouldn't mind that, we kind of move on to a rapid fire that we prepared.
Sure.
Mr. Jayanth.
Sure.
All right, getting started.
Sure.
So external funding or bootstrapping?
Can you repeat that question?
When thinking about funding, external funding or self-bootstrapped?
Bootstrapping.
All right. Profitability or growth?
Profitability.
How often do you order food from outside?
4 or 5 times a month.
All right. What's your favorite cuisine?
Indian traditional cuisine like dosa, bisivelabath, etc.
All right. What do you think about, an MBA versus getting experience on the job?
Getting experience on the job.
A startup to look out for in India? Any startup that you've been impressed with?
Quite a few. I mean, I really like what Paytm has done. I really like what Quicksilver has done. So quite a few startups. I really like what Exotel has done. I actually like what UrbanPiper has done.
Okay. Your favorite restaurant since childhood, or one particular restaurant that you maybe want to highlight, maybe from your childhood days that's been around?
From my childhood days, Saravana Bhavan and Sangeeta in Chennai because I grew up there. In Bangalore, MTR, Vidyarthi Bhavan, Brahmins, Idli Bar, Coffee Bar.
Awesome. Your favorite movie, if you have a favorite movie?
Fight Club.
Fight Club, great. Okay, just a couple more. Your favorite holiday destination?
Goa.
Goa. And a book that changed your life?
I would say Homo Sapiens.
Okay. And this is the final question. Have you ever had an order come in, like some absolutely crazy order, like someone ordering 100 biryanis, where you just had to think what is going on, or just like a funny order that came in? Any story like that where even you had to think what's going on?
Yeah, we've had a party order where somebody said they wanted like 200 biryanis in the next 1.5 hours. We obviously got very excited. Then we realized it was a hoax thing. So now what we do is we don't do any bulk orders without 50% advance payment.
Yeah. So, Mr. Jain, just to like kind of conclude, can you just tell us like some of the challenges that you've faced that you kind of solved with UrbanPiper over the past couple of years?
So a couple of things. I think one is the overall UI UX experience with UrbanPiper. I think we had a lot of customers complaining that we had a homegrown website, which was very, very functional. So I think the user experience has been pretty good. The other big benefit of UrbanPiper is the backend, where you have this, I think you call this a quadrilateral or something, where we can pick which areas we can deliver from a restaurant. Quadrant or something. That has been super useful for us. And like I said, the third thing is your system just works. We have hardly had any downtime with it. So in the restaurant industry, like I said, like food consistency is very important. We just want the website to work. Customers will place an order, restaurants will get the order, and our delivery guys delivering the order. So I think your system just works well. So most of the tech we've invested in is in a similar form. Exotel works well for our call center. Your solution works well for our website. Swiggy works well. We haven't done any integration with Swiggy or Zomato because the handshakes have created problems for us. But the Swiggy dashboard works well. The Uber dashboard used to work well. Zomato dashboard works
well. Awesome. Mr. Jain, thank you so much for taking out the time. I know we got off to a bumpy start, but thanks for being our first guest on Decode with UrbanPiper. We hope you had a great time. Thank you for sharing all your insights in a no-nonsense fashion. It was absolutely great hosting you.
Thank you so much, Kaushal. Thanks, and hope all the best for UrbanPiper, and just keep doing what you guys are doing.
Thank you so much, and best of luck to you too. Thank you. Thanks. Keep serving great biryanis. Thank you.
Sure. Bye.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and leave a comment below, and subscribe to stay updated with the latest in the food tech industry with UrbanPiper.